This video is to cover how to create a new project in Gridfox. So we'll discuss some of the differences between the table builder and the screen builder and explain what tables and fields are and how to create them. At the end of the video, you should be able to create a brand new project within your account, set up a table and fields, and be able to add records to it. We're going to use the idea of a to-do list app so you can start recording your daily tasks in Gridfox. When you sign up to Gridfox, you'll be taken to the home page. So it might be you've signed up by clicking the sign up button or have been invited to someone else's project. So the home page is where you can see all of the projects that you've been invited to, as well as your own projects. So in this instance, I'm logged in as Nick Wild, and he doesn't have any projects in his account, but you can see he's been invited to 3 projects in Miles's account and 1 project in Todd's account. So what we're going to do today is let Nick create his own project for a to-do list app. So he wants to manage what he's got to do, what the status of it is. So the first thing he'll need to do is click the new project button. So there's a few options here. You can choose to create a new project from the screen builder or create a new project from the table builder. Alternatively, rather than starting from scratch, you could start from a template instead. So we're going to start from scratch today to get across some of the key concepts. So we'll go through both options, but we'll start with the screen builder. So we've got to give our project a name. So let's create a to-do list. This has dropped us into the screen builder page. So the screen builder is where you build up your tables and add fields to those tables. And you can then customize the layouts of all the screens associated with those tables. So a table is something like a worksheet in a spreadsheet. So in our case, we have a table for tasks. So in this table, we'll store all of our tasks. But to store the tasks, we need to know what information we are storing about those tasks. So we'll need to add some fields to the table. So fields are like columns on a spreadsheet. So I'll bring in a text field and call it description. So our tasks will have some kind of descriptor against them. And then they probably have a due date as well. So I brought in a date field. So there's various field types along the sides, and we can go through those in another video. But for now, we've got a description and a due date. So a to-do list is useful when you can cross off tasks once they're done. So we probably want a status field. So I'll have a list field, which can have various options in it. So if I open up the field configuration by clicking the ... at the side, I can then add my list item. So a status is likely to be something like to do, in progress, and done. Okay, ignore the other options for now. So that's a sort of basic task. So each task in the system will have a description, a due date, and a status. You can save this. So all tables require that you have a reference field. So this is a unique identifier between your records. So every task will have a name, due date, and description, but there might be some that have the same name. So what I'm going to do is add a new auto counter. So each of my tasks gets a number starting at 1. So there's a unique reference for each of the tasks. That's all I need to do. I've now got a tasks table with some fields in it as well. So I can now go and use this as an end user. So if I close edit mode, I'm now in the end user runtime mode. And I can create some records. So let's say I want to buy some snacks for the team. I want to do that for a few days' time. So I've now created my first task record in the table. So I can keep adding records, adding and deleting them. To edit a record, you just click into it, make any changes, and save. So that's the screen builder. So we can now do exactly the same process, but using the table builder instead. So I'm going to go back to the home screen, actually remove this project and start again. So to get back to the home page anytime, just click the box icon. This drops us into the screen we saw earlier. I'm going to delete this project. Please be careful when deleting projects. So we're going to create a new one using the table builder instead. So if we click New Project again and select using the table builder, enter the project name, and we'll be dropped into a slightly different screen. So this is the table builder, where we can create exactly the same tables, add fields to it, but it's just a slightly different UI. So if I add a tasks table, I can then add fields. So we had a description field and add a date field. So here, rather than dragging in a field, you click to change the field type. It's exactly the same options. Add a status again. So that's going to be a list. So select from list and add in our same list items. I can go ahead and save that. I'll get the same message about a reference field. So remember, all tables need a reference field. I'm going to add an auto counter, close the editor, and then this will be very familiar. I can once again create a task to buy snacks for the team. So there we are. So the table builder and the screen builder have exactly the same result. It's just a slightly different UI. So just to prove it, if we go back into Edit Project, this has dropped me into the screen builder. So you can switch between the screen builder and the table builder by using these two at the top. But at the end of the day, we just have some tables and some fields in those tables. So the screen builder offers you some additional functionality. So you can change the layout of your various screens. So let's say when I'm editing a record, I want the description to be first. I can just drag these fields around, swap the status and task ID, things like that. I can choose to hide fields as well. It might be I don't really want to see the ID. I just need that behind the scenes as a field, and just save that. So now when I go and look at my task, this is editing a task, you'll see the ID field is hidden because I don't want that on the screen anymore. So that's it. That's how you create a new table within a project and add some fields to it using either the screen builder or the table builder.